If there's a major catastrophe, apart from having your personal preps ready, how long do you think you can make it by yourself? In this video, I will discuss the topic of meeting and building with other preppers. It's not an easy topic to cover, as many in the prepping community are lone wolves, but it's a question that comes up a lot. So let's jump in. You can show your support by clicking the like button below, subscribing to our channel, visiting our website, or providing comments in the comments section below. Enjoy the video. There's a proverb that says this: two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls down and has no one to help them up. One of the things I get asked a lot in the comments section of my YouTube channel is this question: how can I meet other preppers? Edward just asked this question the other day, so I thought I'd share my experience. Thanks for the question, Edward. This one is tough to answer for a number of reasons. First of all, preppers by nature are often very private. They're not trusting of others. We tend to be skeptical of the government and tend to focus on staying under the radar and unnoticed. Also, by letting people know you prep, you expose yourself to potentially becoming a target if things go bad in your area, as those same people may now come after you. Have you ever mentioned to someone that you are a prepper or that you are prepared for emergencies? What is the first thing they often say? Well, if there's any problems, I'll just come to your house. And people will too. So keep that in mind when you start sharing this with a lot of people. So first things first, you need to ask yourself this question: what do you want to gain by meeting other preppers? There's a lot of reasons preppers want to meet other preppers. For me, I want to gain knowledge and to surround myself with a support network that have skill sets I don't possess that can help me if there's a time of crisis in my area. Before we get into the details of meeting other preppers, it's important to discuss the term OPSEC, which is short for Operational Security. In the context of this discussion, it's important to note that you don't want to just start dumping out a lot of information about yourself. When meeting others that claim they are preppers for the first time, don't give out all your information. Trust is earned and it's not given. Take the time to build a relationship with these people and get to know them. Another thing you need to consider: make sure that you bring something of value to the group if you're approaching other preppers. At the end of the day, you need to be able to row your own boat. If you have nothing valuable to offer and can't take care of yourself, or simply trying to engage other preppers in order to learn from them, that's fine. But don't come off as needy, which is a huge turnoff, as they might see you as a threat if things go bad. Most veteran preppers I've met are very generous and they're willing to help you get started. But if you're going to ask them for help, remember, actually be willing to implement what they are teaching you. If you're the type of person that doesn't actually do anything with what you've learned, others will take notice of this and they'll probably not offer to help you in the future. You ever met that person that wants your help on something, you help them out, show them how to do it, and a month later they have excuses as to why they haven't even started on it? Yeah, don't be that person. And remember, just be yourself when meeting other preppers and try to stay humble. If you're a know-it-all, people will get annoyed by this. I find that when you're humble and ask questions, people are more than glad to help you out. So here are some practical ways you can start meeting other preppers. Number one, meetup.com. This is how I begin to meet other preppers in my area and begin to get to know the community. Once I met these preppers, I began to learn a lot about prepper groups in my part of Southern California, and I was really surprised to find out how many prepper groups there are here. When setting up your account though, use an email that is dedicated to just this account and does it have your name and the username. The less information you give, the better. Number two, gun ranges. I go to the BLMs, or the Bureau of Land Management, in my area in Southern California when I want to get out and shoot, and it's not uncommon to meet preppers there. I typically ask others about their firearms, and sometimes a conversation of prepping comes up. Number three, getting to know those in the military, both inactive and active. Within this community, the concept of preparation for bad stuff is already kind of built in, and whether they call themselves preppers or not, most of those that I've met, especially active service members, at one level or another have had this frame of mind already. Plus, these are typically the kind of people you want to get to know as well, since they already have many of these skill sets built in for a SHTF situation. And number four, outdoor enthusiasts or gardeners. While you may not consider them quote-unquote preppers, they often will have skill sets that can be quite valuable, which leads me to my next point. Build relationships with others that are not preppers and develop them as far as you can. Don't push people into prepping. Teach and educate people on basic preparedness. And you don't have to use the term prepper either, as it's probably going to scare them off. Also, try looking for friends first who share your same beliefs and values, as opposed to trying to find an entire group of preppers. One diehard buddy is worth more than a dozen people you don't know. Also, be careful about this as well. Revealing to your close friends that you're a prepper can sometimes backfire. You might think that they're going to be really excited about this, but I've had many that get concerned when they found out, while others were excited. I've read countless stories in prepping forums where people have had family members find out about their preps and it freaked the family member out. Just fill people out. Even those you trust and know, slowly just take the time to get to know their views on what they think about prepping. You can really find out fast if someone's fine with it or if they're not. I would also encourage you to get to know people with skill sets that could be useful and cultivate those relationships. I'm very fortunate to have friends that are nurses, doctors, gardeners, military personnel, and handymen. While most of these people would not consider themselves quote-unquote preppers, I've been slowly introducing some some of them the concepts of emergency preparedness, and they have been taking steps to slowly prepare their own family. Remember, be patient with people. The goal is to move them down the field. If my friends and family did nothing more than stock a good supply of food and water, that would be huge, and it would remove a big burden off me if they needed my help. Let me give you an example of how I helped a neighbor get water storage started. I had a neighbor come into my garage and saw some of my water storage containers, and she asked what they were for. I didn't get into a long story about possible threats I'm preparing for, but rather just explain it kind of calmly like this. Hey, we live in a desert environment where we're overdue for a major earthquake. I think it's a good idea to have a lot of water stored up. Since I have a family, I'd hate to be unprepared if something did happen. Storing water is relatively cheap and inexpensive, which is why we started storing it. I bought this water barrel over here at Walmart for like $60, and it was easy to fill up. I like to call it my insurance plan for an earthquake. And if you have any questions about how to get some basic items stored for an emergency, please let me know, as I've been looking at FEMA's website for emergency preparedness and trying to get a few things in line for my own family. Notice I didn't ramble on about government conspiracies, markets crashing, nor did I start using prepper language like SHTF or WROL. I just put the terms in everyday language of what I'm doing, and I kept calm about it, even mentioning that the government recommends it. Within a week's time, that same neighbor had taken it upon herself to buy her own 50-gallon water storage container and got a water filter without me even pushing the issue. The funny thing is, while preparing the outline for this video, I had a friend text me stating that he's starting to build his own bug out bag. I helped introduce him to firearms about a year ago, and since then he's been slowly picking up on things here and there. You'd be surprised to see how seeds you plant eventually grow on their own. By the way, trying to force prepping on others and warn them only turns them off. I had a family member that did this years ago, and it completely backfired on him and really kind of weirded out some family members. While as preppers, we understand the value and wisdom of being prepared for what might lie ahead. You have to lead people by educating them slowly. Some people see the value of preparing right away, but most do not. Again, the key is patience. Have you ever found another approach not mentioned in the video to meet preppers and build a group around you? If so, please provide your thoughts, ideas, and feedback in the comment section below. As always, be safe out there.